I don't understand. She was so great in her interview. I showed her everything. The same things I've shown every other new hire. And yet, here we are again. I have to spend the money now to go make another hiring ad. Does this sound familiar? Hey there, my name is Kayla from Spexy, and I want to thank you for reading my article in this month's Invision magazine. This month we covered 3 common mistakes that optical owners and team leaders make when they're hiring or training a newbie. So if you remember, mistake number 1 was interviewing and then hiring. And this is the portion where, you call them in and ask them mediocre questions with the intention of really getting the insight that you need to honestly be able to stand this person for 40 hours a week. And the answers that you get are rehearsed, pageant-style responses to draw your conclusion from. Some of you take it a step further to go about calling them in for a second interview. Then after that interview is when the decision is typically made. If they've made it that far, you like them, that's it, they're hired. You've got the highest hopes when you do this. And in the first few days, these high hope delusions cause managers to overlook many of the red flags that management will chalk up to just new hire excuses. It's okay, they're just training. When in reality, these are massive character flaws that if you were to really catch them during the hiring process, it would have been much more effective to not make the commitment to hire this person. But instead, because you've already committed and put them on payroll, you press on, right? Only to be muttering the quote, "I don't understand. He was so great in his interview," a few months later. To avoid this, I encourage my Spexy members to take this interview process one step further before actually making the decision to hire someone. So ask your top candidates for a working interview. Some of you have done this before and epically failed. That's why you're watching this video. Have each of your great candidates come in on different days, of course, to work the entire day with the team. Read the article to know what to do as far as compensating this person, but let's go over here what that working interview day really should look like. There are certain situations that you will want to expose the candidate to during their working interview. At the same time, understanding that they don't know how the office works, and there's a clear limitation on what they can actually do as far as function. So you need to be really strategic about what you want to see from them. So let's go over step 1. You'll want to start out the day by setting the proper expectation and reviewing, of course, the necessary HIPAA compliance before working with patients. Get that out of the way. Then you'll want to let the candidate know really the intention of the working interview. And that intention is to observe how they handle patient interactions, coworker interactions, and small tasks around the office. You want to let them know this and also let them know that they're encouraged to engage with everyone and ask questions rather than just sitting back and observing. No, we want them interacting. Then let them know the plan for the day. So step 2, create small tasks that do not require a full training to be able to complete. And you will want the candidate to show that they are quick learners, that they are curious, and that they're engaged in what they're doing and that they're friendly. Right? The task we would like for you to teach them at the beginning of the day is to navigate the EHR. Give them a quick rundown of how the EHR works. Show them how to search for a patient in the EHR, how to read the schedule, and how to find patients' orders in the EHR. These 3 things are really super helpful. So throughout the day, anytime a circumstance arises where you're checking in the EHR for a status of a patient order or looking to see who's next on the schedule, who's arriving next, ask that candidate to they themselves pull them up in the system for you. We don't want them to be under pressure, doing it in front of a patient and everything else. The intent is to really behind the scenes see if they can recall how to manage these 3 basic things within the EHR, okay? This is really helpful because throughout the day you can see how they're working with the EHR. Next thing, you want them to welcome a patient. Human connection is so powerful, and it is ideal that no matter what role you're hiring them for in the office, they need to be able to be comfortable talking with patients, talking with other humans. It is important to ask for them to be the first to greet the patient when they come in. At that point, you'll have another team member there with them, and they will jump in and kind of tag team the patient interaction, where your team member is really taking control of the situation, but you get to see how this candidate interacts with other humans. And the third task that we want you to show them is where orders are kept, usually back in your optical lab. And the basics of really prepping these orders for dispense, okay? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this. And again, no matter the role, every team member in your office should know how to do these simple tasks. So it's important to see how the candidate can learn and can really help to step in throughout the day when there are other orders that are coming in, people coming to pick up orders. You want to see the candidate walking back there to take on these small tasks during the working interview. Now, we started out the day right with setting expectation. We taught them 3 things. The third thing is at the very end of the day, we want a debriefing with you as the team leader. You will want to find out how they perceived the day. Ask what they learned and what it is that they're excited about and what they might look forward to and learning more about now that they've seen kind of the daily life of the optometric office. And that's a great way to go about managing a working interview. Now, in your article, in mistake number 2, we talked about basically once that person is hired, shadow and learning. Shadow to learn, shadow to learn. Stop it. Follow me around. This is how we'll train you. Stop, 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 stop. I don't want to hear that's how I was taught, okay? So many of us were poorly trained. And if I can do an impersonation of a hardened war veteran who has seen it all with a raspy smoker voice, it would be, well, you know what? As an optician, we made it through it. I did it myself. I figured it out. Look at us today. We did it. Listen, y'all, just because we survived does not mean that it's the best training method to keep implementing over and over again. In fact, think of all of those fallen in all of our years that couldn't figure it out and we couldn't keep around. Was it that they were idiots? Well, some of them, yes. But I'm here to tell you that there are many of those that have fallen that would have become great had we had a more structured and proper training method. So use this download link and at minimum, give your newbie some structure to their training. And for those Spexy members, just set your newbie down in front of their Spexy learning. Let us help guide them so that they can come to you curious to implement what they've learned inside Spexy. It's amazing once they have an understanding of what success looks like in the optical. So let us help. If your optical does not have a Spexy membership, y'all, what are you waiting for? Starting at $49 a month, your optical will have full access to series after series of optical excellence training, including what we're referring to here, the Spexy 101 course. Spexy offices that are intentional in the selection process to hire correctly, that implement a proper training plan, and that set weekly check-ins with their new hires have developed a proven foundation for success of that new hire. And the result is a stronger team, happier patients, and a more profitable optical business. Hey y'all, I want to thank you again for reading my article in this month's Invision magazine. You can stop that revolving door of new hires, and I can help you do that. I'll see you inside the Spexy membership. Bye.